Okay, we're here with Alex Landry, who runs the MoringaMan.com, and Era Boyd, who is working on a couple projects. One is the Restoration Orchard, as well as the Land Heart Project. So, and I'm Anthony, founder of RainCube, and we're here at the Permaculture Convergence in Sebastian, Florida, at the Kashi Ashram. And just having some really interesting, spontaneous connections with people from around Florida who are involved in the permaculture community. We're working on interesting projects, impact solutions, using permaculture principles, also providing access relief to Puerto Rico, eco-villages, moringa, flea farming, CSAs. All of these really interesting topics, disaster response, preparedness, a lot of cool classes here at the Convergence, and I'm excited to show some of the new hardware coming out from RainCube. So as we talk about how do we get rainwater catchment installed into homes, into eco-villages, like what's the technology that we're using right now. So I can start with a pump. So this you can either do a gravity system with a valve, or here in Florida, because we're so flat, we have to rely on pumps to move water around. You can elevate the rain tank, or you can bury it in the ground, or put it flat on the ground. Those are options, but having this DC pump is able to supply enough water pressure for your garden, for your home, and it's going to be quiet, as well as being able to run off of a solar panel with the battery, and then, which is nice because then you can also power, this is the, Alberto, if you want to come over here, I can. So we had this put together. It's Raspberry Pi Zero, connected to so the Raspberry Pi Zero W comes with Wi-Fi already built in, which is nice if you want to just have an out-of-the-box solution, hook it up to your home Wi-Fi network. This is a ultrasonic rangefinder sensor that will attach to the RainCube itself inside of the lid, and we've developed a 3D printed module that fits this exactly. So it can screw directly into the top of the RainCube. Very easy to install. That's connected, it's sending data periodically to the Raspberry Pi. That data can be stored locally on the Raspberry Pi, or it could be sent to a cloud network, put in a database, and connected to the output. So this is the input, the rangefinder. This relay board is the output. So these are connected to the pump, and then however many zones, irrigation zones you have, or you could attach it to a shower sink, faucet. These are running solenoids. They can run valves that open and close. It's just sending an electrical signal out, AC, DC, up to 220 volts.
Oh,
so,
that's pretty good.
yeah, I mean, well, so yeah, 24 volt AC solenoids is what most irrigation systems run off of. So this can provide up to 7 zones. You can go onto the app and be tracking how much water you're collecting, how much water you're using in each of the zones, and
can you add more of these modules? So like, can you do more than 7?
Yeah, I mean, you can do as many relays as you want to do, but then you start to get into like enterprise level, industrial. But what's nice is these 7 terminals, you can easily run an entire home off 7 terminals. What's nice is you can be tracking each terminal. So if you have terminal 1 is going to your herb garden, terminal 2 is going to your mango tree, terminal 3 is going to your shower, terminal 4 is going to your washing machine, terminal 5 is going to your kitchen sink. You can be tracking each one of these, and then people who are using the individual stations could potentially be signing in for their usage, or specific tasks can get assigned to different events. So maybe it's tracking that you're brushing your teeth in the morning every day at 8, and how much water you're using then. Or it gets to a point where it's just giving you the ample amount of toothbrush water in the morning. So this is all stuff that I want to develop in the future, and ideally designing RainCube as a platform where developers, where urban farmers can come in, homeowners can come in and start to design, build, and deploy the type of functions and features that they want. So this is just the basic skeleton. You could also add a moisture sensor, soil sensor. I mean, the problem with those is that the low-end ones do erode very quickly and will malfunction. The more high-end ones are a little pricey, so I think maybe somewhere in the future we'll get a good reliable soil sensor. I know that Eden is internet connected, like soil monitoring and connected like device. It's solar powered. It runs from an app. It'll give you a lot of analytics on the health of your soil and of your water scheduling. But that's optimized for city water, just because it just attaches onto a hose. I mean, it could be built with the RainCube, but because rain is this is why I'm building RainCube, is because there is nothing out there that is directly targeting rainwater, residential rainwater, to really make it user friendly and to longer term enable communities to be building local water, food co-ops, partnering with solar, partnering with smart home builders, tiny homes, eco villages. So it's really exciting to share some of this this technology, because it's new, it's exciting, and what's most cool about it is it's accessible. And that's all I have for right now. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by the Facebook page or on YouTube.
Quick question. So, with not using a pump, it's about what, every foot PSI, or how does that pressure dynamic work with some accuracy?
Yeah. So every foot that you raise it off the ground adds 1 PSI. That's kind of the rule of thumb. So I mean, at least 3 feet off the ground. But with larger systems, I think it becomes more dangerous, because that's a lot of weight that you're supporting. And if there's a storm event or an earthquake, or I think that could be a liability. So the other option is putting it underground, which is what a lot of engineers and home builders will do, because they can come in with a backhoe, dig a big hole in an hour when they're building the home, and just plop it in the back, put a pump on it, and you don't see it.
My question for you with that is an experience that we had happen with us in Tallahassee was in the aquaponics. Our sumps were exploded out of the ground.
Wow.
And so when you have a cistern of a large volume of water in the ground, and your water becomes completely saturated with any sort of disaster that we're going to be experiencing in the future, I understand, not having it raised because of also winds, but how do you deal with waterlogged soils in your cisterns?
So that's why I only build just on flat ground. So what's nice about the RainCube is that they come in 1,000 cubic meters of capacity each. So you can stack them, you can add more, take away less, move them around. It's a very modular system. So if one of them does get damaged, or maybe you need to relocate the cubes to another side of the house or onto another roof, they can be detached, reassembled, and all these electronics can be taken away as well. So I think it's a very versatile system. It could be, for some of these food forests, you just need to irrigate it for the first couple years, and beyond that, you don't need it anymore. So maybe this gets repurposed to another site that is just pioneering their homestead.
Phase, yeah.
So I think there's a huge value in these electronics. I mean, we've even gone to manufacturing our own printed circuit boards, and that's good if you're doing very high volume, and you need to get very low cost. But because most DIY hacker types will already have a Raspberry Pi, there's already 10 million Raspberry Pis in circulation around the world. And I mean, Raspberry Pi is just one single board computer. You can even have a micro controller like an Arduino, which is going to be great for sensors and outputs, but it's not going to be good for processing information locally. But for $5 for the Pi Zero, I mean, you can be doing a lot with it. And I think, as we start building these smart homes, the Raspberry Pi is super easy to prototype an entire smart home.
For people who want to live more sustainably and they live in the right place and they have a family, and growing is just not something that's even enters their realm because of it. They find it so difficult.
Yeah, I think it's also about providing jobs for the developers who can build on this, providing jobs for the urban farmers who can be growing the food, who can be maintaining the gardens, the builders who are doing the designs and installations of the homes themselves, integrating that with the landscape, with the broader, civic infrastructure. It's crazy because like water is so basic, and it's the first design consideration cities should be thinking about, or any community for that matter should be focusing on their watershed and on how much water what is their water budget, because without water we don't have life. So
that's actually my next question to you is how do you foresee this in being implemented on a policy level? Because one thing that we're working on in Tallahassee is that we're rewriting the food policy, and it's a community initiative. And this is something that I have approached numerous times with the urban farms, is bringing in more technology on a connected level. Right.
It will be peer to peer, so it's going to be outside of the traditional economy that we're used to with dollars. Because what I'm hoping that this system can create is the opportunity for a gift-based culture, for an abundance-based culture, which means that your surplus that you have is being shared amongst the community when you have more than you need, and when others in the community have more than they need, they can be sharing those resources within the community as well. And because we have this platform where we're getting real-time information, open data about the water that's coming in and the water that we're using, we can get an accurate budget, and then as a village, as a community, as a city, as a global planet, we can come together and manage that commons together, and ideally share that surplus in an equitable way. And the only way to do that is to keep it as open as possible and from the ground up as possible. So it's exciting because we can start using the new decentralized blockchain applications like Bitcoin, but also beyond Bitcoin. So you're really starting to take blockchain basics, smart contracts, open ledger technology, and creating local economies using global currencies that are only exchangeable locally.
So how are you going to break through the perception and the rigidness that people hold within themselves and within their fears and belief systems on money? Because we have a time bank in Tallahassee, but that time bank is like 3 years old and has maybe 15, 20 active members. It has 300 members, but only a certain amount of people actually participate in it. And we're finding a difficulty on breaking these strong-held beliefs. I have to have money to eat, So how are you going to break through that with using this as a new currency?
I think there's already. So first we have to start out really small. So it's not trying to launch a global currency, but can I launch a currency within my network? And we have the tools to do that right now. So it's exciting because we have new tools. We can do things a lot better for a lot less money, and you can start with people who are already interested and who are already ready, who have already made that change, and they're seeking somebody like your husband who wants to do this, but he doesn't have the time. So also too, going to communities that their options are so limited that it's forcing them to step out of their comfort zone. And when you go to places like that, there is no resistance because what you're offering is better than what they have. So yes, we have running water in most places in the U.S., but there are also places that don't. I think also with the gift economy, there's a value placed on community. So with that, you're able to take money that you would invest otherwise, but because there's a demonstrated return on your investment in the community, safer neighborhoods, food security, water security, clean air, people are putting a premium on that. So if you present them an option where we're giving you cheaper than what's already available, say at Publix, but we're giving you a healthier option that's produced locally, that's not using migrant labor, that's treating the soil well, that's using rainwater, shoppers will move towards that option if you give them a cheaper, better option. What we can do is we can take that money that people are spending in the local economy, reinvest it into the homeowners, into the local landscape, into building the local decentralized co-ops. So we can start to switch our purchasing power to fund the products and the projects that we want in our community that we know will have the return as opposed to sending it to a corporation that will put it in.
Their pocket.
Well, the thing is, it's just sitting on balance sheets in the financial ether. That is the global capitalist economy. So it gets really interesting. Solar coin actually already exists, but it's not like I'm paying you for sunshine. It's like, well, actually, I guess it is. It's as the more solar is collected on the grid, the more valuable the coin is worth.
How would solar coin be applicable to something like Tallahassee's vision by 2036 being completely on solar?
Solar coin could be cool because it incentivizes people to purchase solar coin. It incentivizes homeowners to collect solar in exchange for solar coin. So it's just an incentivization
Can it only
model.
be on their panels, or can it be on a community panels?
I think it's panel agnostic.
Okay.
It doesn't matter like what the panel is, but I think I don't know if, like what money goes to the homeowners specifically, but they have been operating for a few years now, and they have like a pretty big market cap. But
not to dive into something else that's different.
well, there's going to be something else because they don't do the. What's going to be nice is when peer-to-peer micro-transactive grids come online, where you can be selling your solar to your within your local grid, neighbor to neighbor.
That's good.
So Grid Plus is they're tackling that challenge, basically being the secure ledger of solar payments and solar exchanges.
How do you feel about the cleanliness of panels?
Collecting rainwater off of them?
No, collecting solar out of panels. Like
Oh, you mean the embodied energy cost?
I'm talking about how panels, once they're done, it's very hard to recycle them.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's true with any technology. I think upcycling is probably the key. But I think maybe solar film could be cool. But in terms of like having panels on everything, I don't know, maybe that's a better question for this 3D solar guy. Which,
I'm just curious what you thought about it.
well, I mean,
you don't have to answer it. I'm just
what
throwing it out
I'm
there.
interested in
I'm
terms of like
collecting
upcycling.
Because I mean, what is your experience on taking okay, we get a hurricane, and I have 55 panels in my community, and they all get fucking destroyed. you
Right.
know? Like, what is the chances of me being able to take those panels and fix them? That's one thing that we're worried as a community is we're going to get hit by hurricanes. We have, you know.
Maybe a more diverse energy portfolio, so having micro wind as well could be useful.
How do you feel about solar thermal?
You mean hot springs or volcanoes? Solar
thermal.
solar thermal. Oh,
Steam.
heating the water.
Yeah, it's a steam generator, and then you just have tubes of water that is heated in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the cost and like how much.
Well, Morocco has like megawatts systems
Right.
in the
Yeah,
deserts
it's
on there. And Morocco doesn't have money.
Maybe. I mean, if that's the general consensus on what people want to do.
I'm just, I'm throwing out these stuff because this is things that we're exploring in our community, and I'm collecting information.
I think you could actually get away very well with rocket stoves,
We use that extensively.
biochar, just for cooking and heating. Great, because you can also be agroforestry ties into that, and also micro hydro too. So like tapping little streams.
Yeah, we have a creek. We think about putting a wheel on.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some pretty efficient methods
They do.
for doing micro hydro.
They say water wheel is the most efficient way of collecting energy.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is you could actually have the rain in tanks above,
And then funnel it down through a wheel. That'd be a great idea.
because you could be having different, like if you're on a slope and you're
They do
collecting
that in
rainwater.
Portland.
If you're collecting rainwater at the top, and you can have a reservoir pool and then a bigger reservoir pool, and like everything's kind of like circulating water. Because you could go crazy and have at downhill you can have a solar pump that's just sending the water back up.
How do you feel about bioforms?
What are bioforms?
Bioforms is how water flows one way and then the other way, and it's like an interaction with air, and it creates water that's supposed to be the best living water.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the shape of time-space. Like what I was mentioning earlier with the fluid dynamics.
Yeah, you go one way. It's a form, and what we envision is flowing it through and down into irrigation from it.
Well, I think Alex can speak more to Victor Schauberger and the impeller.
Yeah, what What's your specific question?
Using bioforms in the rainwater catchment into like an irrigation system.
Leonardo da Vinci had a lot of paintings on rivers and water and curls.
Well, it's interesting because it comes down to like Clean Water Act and there's certainly laws and regulations and best
Comes down to
practices
the brass
around
pipes, bro.
water.
Copper pipes is, I think,
Yeah, pipes are huge, and even pipes that have natural spiral and curvature.
Yeah.
I think
it's really
bamboo would be
reconfiguring plumbing
That's
industry.
Yeah, reconfiguring plumbing.
But another good point is with the rain collection, there's always going to be overflow, so that needs to be understood. And so then, how does that overflow be stored in the landscape in the most optimal way? And from my understanding, it's building swales on contour. The challenge here in Florida is, we don't have lots of dynamic topography, so we have to, create berms, create swales to literally have cisterns in the landscape, but the real cisterns are the microorganisms that are living
So
in
what
the
are you
water
gonna
that
do
are tiny rain collection.
When what we've noticed is the water hits our swale, then it goes. It doesn't go.
How gray water ties into rainwater with RainCube is that, let's say you have a shower, and that shower is connected to a gray water system that is feeding your backyard fruit trees. Maybe you got like a mango tree, or a persimmon tree, or apricot, peach, whatever. You have a fruit tree that's taking 100, 200 gallons of water potentially a week coming from the shower. So that shower has a value that the fruit tree has a value. You can be earning rain coin for the value that you're creating here using the gray water. Bonus points. Gamify it. Make it an incentive that every shower you take grows a part of a mango. Same thing with washing machines. You can be tracking the gray water that's leaving the system because you're tracking the water that's coming into the system.
Okay, so you can set. Okay, that's what I wasn't sure about. Was you said specifically for the rain cube, but you're also talking about a reclamation system with gray water as well.
Well, yeah, because if where's your shower water coming from?
Yeah, I want to grow vegetables out of the
Exactly. So if you can track how much water is going from the rain to the shower, you can track how much water is going from the shower to your gray water system, and translate that into ideally you're using it to grow something of value.
And then it gives me real-time numbers of the amount of irrigation going into the landscape, which is
and you can always manually close it off if you're just and it goes somewhere else.
Can you control the zones that the gray water goes to with this as well?
Potentially, yeah. It's just one added layer of complexity that you got to maintain. So simplicity is really nice. So that's like stacking functions. So it's like gray water is nice with shower, with rainwater, with fruit trees. So it's just like one single swoop. But I was in Guatemala last year. We did an installation down there for a pila, which is like combo dishwasher / washing machine. And it's either concrete or plastic or whatever, and it's in the courtyard. In the center is a very large container, like a well almost, of 50 liters, 100 liters of water. But you fill it up, scoop out the water, and then you're washing your dishes on this side, scoop up, washing your clothes on this side. And it's really efficient use of water because you're only using, there's no running water. So
We use it in Costa Rica as well.
yeah, all throughout Latin America.
Shallow basin, the deep.
And the solution that we provided with RainCube was that filling up the pila took minutes. Took a long enough time where you don't want to wait for it. You walk away, you come back, and you're overflowing. So we created a feature where you could just press a button and it would fill up your pila halfway or full. So that saved time, saved water because you're not spilling any, and it's coming directly from your rainwater as opposed to the aqua. What's the name of the rain barrel supplier, the rain tank?
What do you mean, IBC?
No. There's a name of the. It's silly not remembering it.
Oh, interesting. I would think there's multiple ones.
No, there's like one. Anyways, we use cubes there. Rotoplas. That's what it is. But we were able to find cubes at the local market, and it was just crazy. We had to lift the cubes up and over a 2-story building onto We were like in Zone 7 ghetto, just craziness.
I spent time in Costa Rica, and we went to an indigenous culture, and we brought rainwater systems. And we also went to Panama and installed a clean system there. But we were like hiking up the side of this mountain, and it just like rained for 2 weeks. So we're in knee-deep fucking clay. These huge
Wow.
tanks are just trying to like.
Costa Rica's no joke with those river crossings, man.
Oh my gosh!
Because if it's rainy
I've
season,
lost so
it's-
much stuff in river crossing. You have to do like the triangle, the like backpacks on. I walked across Costa Rica in like a month.
Costa Rica's beautiful.
Yeah. So I understand what you're when you're like, I gotta go into this community and do it. Like,
Well, no, it was Guatemala
totally
City, Zone 7.
understand.
It was crazy. It was the heart of the beast.
I haven't done anything in like major cities. I've done a lot of humanitarian work in outlying community.
Well, it's exciting. There's a lot of it's crazy to think that what we're doing now, the way that we're choosing to live now, is going to be available globally in the next generation.
I think in the next couple years easily. How does this hook up with the natural flow?
Oh, and then you're gonna bring them in after.
Yeah, pre and post filtration is up to the person who's building and designing the rainwater system. So it's up to you and what
So it's
you're.
easily just to hook up an IBC natural sand filter with charcoal.
If that's what you want, all you get
Low
the sensor.
tech,
You
low
get the sensor. I mean, at minimum is you get the sensor that's telling you your water level. Because at minimum you just want to know. You don't.
I don't want to guess.
Yeah. Then you can start adding, pumps and solenoid filters, and it goes on from there. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what your husband's going through, and how we can. Because right now my focus is finding developers, building the website, publishing the kind of like the white paper. We're calling it the blue paper, which explains the technology, the vision, like what the hell is the Internet of Rain, and then partnering with urban farmers.